Okay guys, this is Velo, and we're here checking out one last board game to video game adaptation. So we have Hasbro's Axes and Allies, copyright 1998. If you haven't heard of Axes and Allies, the best way that I could explain it is it's a more advanced version of Risk. And as you know from my Risk video earlier, I played that a lot when I was a younger kid. And I remember Christmas one year, as my family would do, we would go around to some of the different stores in town and just kind of look and get an idea for what there was for shopping. And I remember seeing this board game on a shelf, kind of tucked away in the back of a drugstore of all things. I'm from a small town, and that's just how it was. Wasn't expecting to see board games there, and I wasn't expecting to see this gem. And I remember just picking the box up, looking at how thick it was as far as the contents of the box itself, reading the bottom, looking at it, seeing what it was, thinking about Risk, and saying to my father, you know, this would definitely be something I would be interested in for Christmas. Well, fast forward a couple of weeks, and he was paying attention, and I got this game, and I would spend many hours playing this game with my father, with my friends, and the games would become so involved. I remember we would leave the board games sitting up in the corner on this countertop that was just kind of reserved space, usually for stuff and cooking. But yeah, it was the spot to just kind of leave the board game. And I remember when we weren't playing it, I would come and I would look at how all the pieces were set up, and I would decide what I was going to do. I was always strategizing. I was always in my own little world with it. And when this game came out for PC, I jumped on it because one of the biggest pains in the ass for this game was setting it up. So let's dive right into it here. Enough of my little intro and nostalgia trip. So we're going to hit new game. Alright, so what you got here is there's 5 countries in the game. You know, the USSR, UK, and USA are tied to the Allies powers, and then Germany and Japan are the Axis powers. And essentially, you can hit the arrows here to change the difficulty. So these are all set to computer right now. 5-star difficulty. This would be if I want to control it as a human. You know, the 3-star difficulties, you got, you know, I'm not going to try and pronounce these names, but the 3-star, the 4-star, the 5-star. Same thing with Germany, you know. 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, in case you want to know what the names are. Now, obviously, some of these I could have pronounced, but just to clear your curiosity there. So, in the options menu, you can set up a few different things here. Quick AI just basically gets rid of pop-ups, and if you're not sure what it is, just click the question mark. You know, so it'll basically just finish the computer's moves without actually moving the stuff. But I kind of want to illustrate some of the moving stuff, so we'll leave that on. Standard roll, the dice kind of roll across. Quick roll, they just sort of line up. Not a big deal there. But cinematics are little cutscenes, basically, that happen in the middle of the game. For the sake of recording, it really wigs out because this is such an old game, so I'm going to leave that off. We'll leave on the newspaper, it's just sort of a fun thing. Text on the map is really important. Couple different things here that you can decide on. So as you're moving units through, it designates little territories just like Risk. I like East-West Canada because it's just so large. I like the idea for a subs to submerge, naval occupation. Basically, really good, especially if you're a nation like Japan. You can only place in one area, and if somebody has that occupied, you can still place there. Aerial retreat is also nice. Kamikazes are nice if you just really need to attack something. I like Scorched Earth. Paratroop units means a bomber can move some infantry. So yeah, there's going to be some stuff in here. Now, since it's 3 versus 1, I do like Axis advantage. That means that they start out with 2 special techs. So you can see Germany's got jet power, Japan's got super subs. It's just something to kind of give the game a little bit more balance. USSR restricted is just a historically accurate thing. USSR can't attack turn 1. That's all that means, which is fine. Always active AA gun I like, and 2-hit battleship I like, because typically, you know, it's going to take 2 hits to knock out a battleship, and people are going to be shooting AA guns. Now, you can set the victory to whatever you want. IPCs are how much each territory is worth. You could just capture 2 capitals. This is just the default settings. We're just going to set it to world domination. It's over when we've taken over all the territory on the board. I mean, that's kind of how Risk was, right? So that's all I'm going to change. We're just going to hit done. And then as far as playing, I think we'll let the computer control a decent amount of them. And I'm going to play as the allies. So we'll do me as the allies against the computer as Germany and Japan. So this is also the turn order. So I'll go first, then Germany, UK, Japan, USA. I'll just kind of explain it as I go. We'll go through a few turns here. I'm not going to bore you guys too much. Okay, so these are our layout. Now, the flag's moving really quick. The game is old, so it's got a fast scroll rate. If I move to the side of the screen, it's really easy to just get lost. You can see how quickly it kind of moves around. You just kind of get used to like jabbing at the screen, so you're going to see me doing a lot of that. If you need to ever look, you can also click this bar up here and just minimize that, and then you can kind of see, oh, what's going on here. Right, so here's Europe. It's all color-coded. You know, Russia's brown, Japan's yellow, America's green. They threw China in with America. Britain is brown, Germany's gray. The capitals of each country is the flags that are moving like ridiculously. And essentially, at the beginning of every, or at the end, I'm sorry, of every turn, you collect a certain amount of money. Russia starts out with 24. That's just how many territories you own. So if I took over, let's just say Ukraine here, that's kind of hard to see, but we'll just use Finland as an example. It's worth 2. If I took over that, then I would collect 26 for my next turn. But weapons development is you get a chance to roll, it costs 5 each. So I could have a chance to roll 4 dice, and if I get a 6, the game will randomly choose one of these upgrades for me. It's really a gamble. I don't recommend doing it until you're like winning. So I'm just going to skip weapons development a lot here, and I'll mostly explain the first turn. So here's what you can buy. Here's all the units in the game. You need an industry to produce something. This is how much it's worth. And then you've got your boats, basically battleship down. You've got your AA gun. You've got your 2 planes, fighter and bomber. It does show the attack and defense on here, which is really nice for those that have played the game. Armor and infantry for land units. So obviously a lot more advanced than Risk. Risk pretty much just had the infantry. So it really expands on what different units can do. And as you can see, some are better at attacking, like the tank. Some are better at defending, like the infantry. The carrier's better at defending. The bomber's better at attacking. The battleship's a little bit of both. But obviously the cost is also something you have to figure in. So I'm just going to play the way that I find it to be the most useful. And if you guys have any better tips from what I'm doing, then that's fine. As Russia, you're really in a pincer move, and you really just need to hold up the pressure against Germany and Japan. I find that if Russia dies, it's game over for the Allies. So I'm just going to buy infantry because they're cheap. They're cheaper land units with the same defense as the tank. So I'm going to buy as many as I can. So now I'm at my non-combat move. This is because I have USSR restricted. Normally it would be combat and then non-combat. So we're going to do non-combat, then place units. Alright, so we're going to move. Infantry can move 1 spot a turn. You can see it goes to no if I grab it and move it too far. So we're going to move 2 there. We're just trying to kind of turtle this up a little bit. And then I'm going to move... You know, I think I might leave that there. But there's also really no reason for me to hold Russia, but I'm going to move, I think, everything to Karelia, because I can build, this is where my industries are, this is where I have to place new units, and Germany's the big threat. Also here, I just want to help defend Britain, so I'm going to move those boats there because there's going to be a lot going on in the North Sea. I just know this from playing the game. I'm also going to move one dude, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do is Russia. I'm just kind of defending my east and west. Alright, so then I'm going to hit done. We got place units. And now this is kind of weird. Like, you sort of have to move the map to get it off the top. So I'm going to place all 8 up here. And then I hit done. And then I collect. See, I didn't lose or earn anything, so I got 24. So now the computer's going to go, and it's going to go a lot quicker. And I'll just illustrate this, and then I'll just kind of play. So he's doing no weapons development. He's purchased 10 infantry. He's doing the same thing as me. He's going to his combat move. Now he's moving combat. So he's illustrating where he's doing it. And then he's going to end and do the combat itself. So he is going to try and take the Caucasus from me. We'll see if I can hold it. And he's starting his Africa campaign. Now tanks can move 2 spots. That's how we took that French Equatorial. So he missed, I missed. What do I want to do with my sub? I'm just gonna remain because I'd like it as a potential hit. And then we've got 2 more hits here. I'm gonna remain again. Oh, I was hoping that the battleship could survive a little bit longer, but at least I took one of his planes with me. Okay, 2 hits. Hopefully I can get some hits here. Nice. Dang it. Hopefully I can get some hits. Well, we knocked out 2 of his planes, so even though we took it, that's really good, because, like I said, those planes are really good at... I'm going to try and remain and knock out his transport. If I can knock out his transport, then those 2 infantry that landed will die. Hopefully... Nope. Okay. I'm not doing too good anyways by myself. But now Egypt here has a lot more troops attacking it. And it's pretty common for Britain to... This is a pretty common German opening for Britain to lose a lot before he starts. A lot of the times you're playing catch-up as England in this game. And he's just fortifying his troops, you can see. And this is why I had the moves on, so you can kind of get an idea of where he's moving from. And then he's going to keep placing here and moving over. But I should be able to take back the Caucasus next turn. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to skip weapons development. Let's take a look at the map. And also the nice tone for Britain here. Alright, so there's a couple things you could do. Sometimes I'll build an industry on Australia. Sometimes I'll build one on India just to help kind of put pressure over here. I think that's what I'm going to do this turn. Is buy an industry for India, because that's 3 units I can place on India. And then let's see here. We need something over in Britain. I think I might just buy a fighter and an infantry. Okay. So now what do I have to work with? Alright. Well, we don't need this tank on Canada. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move it. And I'll take back Algeria. I'm going to move this guy. I'm going to actually take these from Australia. So that next turn I can load them back over on India. Australia's sort of nice, but obviously I can do more here in the Congo than I can there. I'm just going to leave that guy in Africa because the tank might blitz through and I might be able to knock him out rather than fight him all at once. They're going to take the rest of these. That's fine. I can't really do anything about that. I do have some planes that I can make use of. And you can see how far things can move. Like, there's not really a whole lot I can do here. Especially with that always active AA gun. I could attack here, but I'm not going to gain much from it. So I think the best bet is to... No, I don't want to do that. So that's the other thing too, is like, let's say I move something and I'm like, nope, I don't want that. You can just right click, left click, right click, left click. That is in the Barrett's Sea. You can see 1, 2 to the Barrett's Sea. It kind of glitches a little bit on the borders. But yeah, I want those planes to attack here because there's not a lot he can do to defend. If I don't have a use for my bomber, I might have him do the same thing. I do have paratroop units though also. Maybe I'll load up a bomber. And maybe I'll just move him to India. You see though. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think to do that I'd have to fly through. Well, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's flying me through Western Europe to get there. 1, 2, 3. Not sure. We'll see what the move is in non-combat, but for now, I think we'll gamble on that. If not, we'll try and unload something here to sort of defend from Germany going over. Alright, there's really nothing in Canada. I'm just going to move this over to Eastern Canada, but I have to wait for non-combat. So honestly, we're kind of done. I want this plane here to help defend. There's really nothing to attack with it and get back safely, so I'm not going to do anything. So I think that's all we're going to do for combat. Do we want our battleship to bombard? Does not really matter because there's nothing there because we're just going to take it, but it's nice because it can attack with a bombard. Alright. And we knocked out the 2 ships, which is good. We just need to keep Germany's transports down so that he can't get to us. And then we're just going to move here to help defend. We're in our non-combat now. So where does that fly through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and that's totally safe. We'll do that. And then we'll unload our extra dude on India because we really want to defend India. We need that to be a hub for us. Now, we can't really move our battleship or anything, so I guess we're just kind of stuck with where we're stuck there. We probably could have moved it in non-combat back up around, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. So we want to place our industry there. I don't think we can place infantry here because it's a newly built one. We have to wait. So for now, the game is very touchy sometimes. And now we'll just go through it a little bit quicker. Japan is trying to do a little bit of a push. The attack on Pearl Harbor, more or less. Dang it, I was kind of hoping we could knock out something there. Submarine hits. Guess we'll do it on our sub. Ouch. Hopefully we can get just 1 hit. That is pretty devastating there. Nasty. It's a little bit of a game of chance, you know, the lower numbers that you can roll, the better in this game. Which is kind of the opposite of Risk, because in Risk it's the higher number. It's kind of a different way that they built the game. He just did 8 infantry on Japan. He's not building any kind of an outpost. Okay. As the United States, you're really kind of the middle person to help either side. I feel like we're kind of okay on the Germany side right now, and we really need to put pressure on Japan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on knocking out his navy by building ships. Now, subs have a chance to sneak attack. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to bank the rest of the 4. I don't really need infantry right now, and that will add on to what I have last time. Or next time, rather. So I'm going to buy that. Now for combat here, gonna do is we're gonna help in Africa where we can. And that's 3 to go there, and then I can land on the Hawaiian Islands. So we're gonna try and knock out these battleships. It might not happen. And I think we're gonna bring this transport in just as a potential hit against his battleships. Sometimes it's nice to figure, okay, who am I gonna throw in for fodder or what? And that's what I'm gonna go with. I think I'm going to attempt to knock down some of what he has here. Because I'm going to get a turn as Britain again before he gets a turn, so I'm going to throw everything that I've got at this country to try and defeat it. Even if I don't win, hopefully I've at least weakened him. And a dead bomber always feels good. Okay, the plane will have to retreat to a country. It's not going to be able to hold this on its own, so I'm just going to send it to India because I don't want to lose my fighter if I can help it. Actually, I think I'm going to move it to Yakut up here to help defend. But let's deal with this first. Okay, so he got 2 hits on me, so we're going to take the ship that can't attack and one of the planes. Probably should have done that 1 hit on the battleship first, but it turned out fine. Okay, so we got that combat, and then you can see how this is grayed out. You have to look around to see, oh, where haven't I done combat yet? Oh, it's over there. Okay, cool. And because they're allies, this didn't go to America. This went back to Britain because of America helping out, essentially. Okay, so for non-combat, we're going to move the plane up here. Over here, we have to move these and land on the Hawaiian Islands. I think we also need to move this fighter. Like I said, I'm going to unload it on Yakut or Yakut, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing these wrong. Okay, so where do we have the biggest threat of ships? We did knock out his battleships, so we don't need these as much. But let's go ahead and add... Let's just do 2 and 2, just to kind of help out both sides right now. And then at the end of every set of 5 turns, you'll get this brief, who is doing the best kind of thing. And I like the second page because you can really see the charts that, you know, Germany, the gray line is going up overall, Russia and Britain are going down. That's pretty normal. And you can kind of see some of the numbers here. And obviously who has the weapons development. It's a very well done game as far as that's concerned. Okay, so we're just going to keep buying infantry. Like I said, Russia's job is mostly to hold the line. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move in because I've purchased 8. And we're going to try and chip down some of this stuff. These tanks are best to attack when they're in defense anyways. I don't want to move too much into the Caucasus here. I'm going to move... Actually, I think I'm going to move 2. That's probably enough to deter him from attacking me. Over here, I could try and throw everything I've got at Manchuria, but it's going to be really close, and he does have a transport. But I'm also not in a position to refortify anytime soon. 8 troops versus 5. I'm going to attack with 1 and 2. He's going to defend with 2 and 3. I think... I think I'm going to hold the line still. I might actually... Actually, I'm going to attack with 3 there. You know what? Let's gamble. Let's find it interesting. Let's throw everything we've got. Let's see if we can manage. Dang it. It's very nervous. Okay. Okay. No. Oh, no, that's not good. Come on! Come on, come on, come on. Are you serious? This is not looking good, guys. Alright. Not looking good, but we'll move some more stuff over there next turn. Probably should have held the line, but at least we weakened Japan. Hopefully we can keep pressure on him. Not as worried about the front over here. I feel like I've really allocated well. He might take back Ukraine. But yeah, we 100% need to hold Karelia, so that's where all of our retreats are going. Like I said, we don't have much over here. He probably is going to take Soviet Far East, but yeah, we'll have to get something figured out over there soon. Okay, he's going to try and take back Ukraine. And knock out Africa, which was kind of expected. Nice, I defended against the battleship. But he's pretty well taken Africa down there. Hopefully I can take it back with what I have up here. It's a lot of defending and holding the line, which is what I really need to do the next time is Russia up here. I'm not going to be able to do anything about my front on the other side, so hopefully Britain here can help. So we're going to skip weapons deployment. We're for sure buying 3 infantry, I believe is what I want. Or do I want to go with tanks? Maybe 3 tanks. So the reason I say 3 is newly placed in industries. You can only place as many units as the country has IPCs. The ones you start the game with doesn't matter, but the new ones, it's tied to this number. That's why I place it on India here. I can only place 3 units. And you can only take over countries with land units, so that's why I'm thinking we'll put 3 armor tanks there. And then probably buy a fighter. Whatever we buy is going to end up over here. We can always move the fighters over to defend, or we can use them to kill ships. So we'll buy a fighter. We will knock out his transport. And then, let me see here. I think we're going to attempt... Where did our bomber go? We're gonna attempt to knock out Egypt, take it back. We're not really at a point of being able to attack yet over here. We really need more stuff to defend. He's got a decent defense here with 3 planes. So that's, again, why we need our tanks there and stuff to help us defend. Eventually we'll need some more planes down there. We did forget to move our guy over to East Canada, but we don't have a transport for him anyways. There's no other ships that I can see myself being able to attack. I won't do this because fighters can only move 4 spaces. So once the fight is done, it'll just die. So instead, this fighter is going to move non-combat over there. It is definitely a fight over the sea. Okay. We took Egypt back. Non-combat. I'd like my bomber just to sit back on India. I can do more from over there. I'm not going to forget about my infantry dude this turn. I'm not going to forget about my plane. I think we'll have Britain just defend Karelia. Also, we can move our infantry now. We will probably lose this boat, but at least we have a much more sturdy India now. That's why I picked up these troops. Because this is just worth 2, it's harder to defend, whereas Africa collectively gets me like 10 or something. So I think that's all we really want to do. We don't have a lot to work with right now as Britain, but hopefully we can build that up. 3 tanks in India. India is looking very nice right now. That investment's starting to pay off. And we can cripple Japan if we can knock out his navy and knock him off of Asia, is the plan. I was going to say, it'd be nice if that transport hit. I'm not that lucky. Has to roll a 1. It's kind of funny that a transport can shoot a plane down. I don't know how that works, like a lucky machine gunner or something. Okay, and he is not attacking me, which is really good. That means I put up enough pressure on him to make him feel like he needs to defend. That was my goal, because I don't have a Russian front anymore up here. But he does have 4 transports now. We really need to knock those down. I probably should have put all my subs over here so that I could have knocked him down. We are just going to buy subs. All right. Because I want them all over here. Now these 2 subs, we just want to move somewhere that's in position to hurt him. Or we can start moving into the Pacific. Let's just do that. I know I probably should have just brought them there to begin with, but whatever. Okay, I can get to the Sea of Japan from Honolulu. So I'm just going to move them here. We're mostly going to do non-combat over there. Over here we're going to have that take over. How many? 4, 5, 6. I think we're going to try and knock out this tank with this bomber. It'd probably be the best use of it, honestly. Because there's no guarantee our tank will kill it. And as far as over here is concerned, I don't think there's really much we want to do. We want to keep at least defending that with what we can, so... Okay, thankfully he did not knock out our plane. We didn't take it, but now it's free to take for this tank. And Germany is basically knocked off of where we wanted him. Okay, and then he doesn't have any transport, so I don't feel like I'm in an immediate threat. We're just going to go back to Egypt. Oh, we forgot to do our non-combat, but that's fine. We really didn't have much. I don't think we actually had any besides that bomber. It would have let us know. Russian Juggernaut on the move. Yeah, because we took that stuff back from Germany. We took 2. He only took 1. It's whatever line goes up the most steepest. That's always nice to see. Turn 2, we're starting to do really well. We are going to keep buying infantry. We really need to hold the line now. We do not have the tanks or anything anymore. It would be kind of nice to take Finland, but okay. I think we're gonna do that. Just Keep the pressure up. Even if he takes it back, it's fine. It's at least distracting him from taking Karelia, and at the end of our turn, like I said, we collect those extra resources. And he's mostly making infantry, which can just move one spot, so I'm totally fine with... Hopefully I can knock out some of these planes. Those are really deadly. Oh dang, I was hoping to knock something out here, come on. Okay, well I guess that's something. Nice. He knows his planes are important, so he retreated there. Going to be this huge fight. You can see why I'm just building infantry now, because collectively this is like a stalemate. Eventually I do want to knock out Finland because he can't reinforce it. I can hold it easier, but the opportunity might not present itself. So now he doesn't have as many planes. He doesn't have any ships. I think we need to start putting the pressure on him here a little bit. So let's buy a carrier, because they defend with 3 and they're a little bit cheaper, and we can put our planes on it. And then let's buy 3 infantry so that we can put on India. Alright. He has got a lot going on here. I would kind of like to knock out that carrier, but... I think instead we're just going to throw everything we can at this land force, because we're going to put 3 more units on here. And our planes are going to be able to retreat. We're going to try and take French Indochina. Also, we are going to retake our stuff in Africa. I don't think I have any more combat. He doesn't have anything that I really want to knock out. So for non-combat move, I'll move those over there. I'm gonna move my battleship back over. There's really no reason for it to be over there anymore. And I think with that, I'm pretty much done. I can't really do anything else as Britain at the, or as, yeah, Britain at the moment. He doesn't have a lot going on. Okay. I'm totally okay if I lose most of my troops here, because like I said, I am building more. India's a producer now, and knocking him, like I said, off of Asia is really nice. Planes have to fly back for non-combat. What's the other non-combat I was going to do? We're going to move this fighter over here. And I thought I had something else in my mind. Maybe not. Okay, we'll just go with that. Okay, so we're going to place our carrier in the sea and our 3 troops in India. And we are getting some nice IPUs as England now. As I expected, he will eventually start to take over some of the easy stuff. That's fine. That's as expected. It's just all the more reason that we need to push upwards here to stop him from taking too much into Russia. And also these transports are really going to be a pain. You can see how quickly he can reinforce through the Sea of Japan. That's why we need to get our American stuff over there and knock these out. So I'm going to assume these 6 subs are going to do the trick at this point, so now we're just planning ahead. We want to build some transports and some infantry, and that's going to go towards Germany eventually. Okay. Mostly, I think we want to do non-combat moves here. I think it's pretty futile for this plane to be here. Actually, let's try and take back China. It's got 1 troop there. I think that's about the only combat that I want to do because I want to collectively get all of these subs together. Okay. I think I would rather defend here than actually hold the territory, so we'll retain our plane and we'll use it to defend French Indochina. And now all of our non-combat, we're going to be moving everything here because 1-2 turns to the Sea of Japan. We can threaten it a lot next turn. There's really not much this plane can do because it can't land anywhere. So until we get a carrier, I can't really push that way with my plane, but I can potentially push over here, so we're going to move it back. Also, we can move through friendly territory if we need to, but I think I'm going to keep defending Alaska. It's possible he could unload on Alaska and come over, but if he does, I can just build a bunch of infantry, no big deal. I'm going to move that transport back. We're going to probably move this infantry as well. So we're going to load him up on the bomber. That was 1, and then we can move him all the way over to French Indochina and unload him. Because again, we don't need him in Africa anymore. That was essentially a done campaign until he builds more transports here, which he's probably not going to do. Okay. And we will preemptively have this sitting waiting for Germany. Yeah, British Juggernaut, that's because we're getting Africa back. Germany's losing it, which is great. We just need to keep holding the line. Can't really afford to let up at all. Okay. That's what we want to buy. I think here, it's hard to say, but we'll do some non-combat to put a couple troops on the Caucasus and hope that that's enough to stop him from attacking us. Do that. Kind of gambling with the numbers here. Nice. Probably a little bit more than what I needed. And we're getting 18. I think we're going to do that. See, he's seeing the threat with the carrier. He wants to knock that out. He's hoping for a hit, but at least we're distracting him enough. It might not be a bad idea even to get a battleship there, but we do still have our battleship here. He's also seeing the need to defend over here a little bit and just kind of refortify what he's got, which is fine. That's what we're going to do too. We'll move these guys back. We don't need to defend Finland. we're actually going to buy 2 carriers now. I think we're fine. We don't need any more troops in India. We're gonna move here to defend. We want to be able to hold this sea zone now from his planes. The 2 carriers will be able to fight back. We'll let America take China back with his troops here. We will go and push for Manchuria, which he does have an industry on now. Actually, these tanks can just blitz through and take it for us this turn. We can non-combat move these Indian troops up to help defend. He'll take Yakut, but hopefully we can hold the line here and push in before he gets too crazy. We'll non-combat move this back up to Egypt and over, probably up to help defend. There's a lot of troops here. I don't want to just throw my planes at that. I'd rather have them defending like I am. Also, I can use these planes on a carrier if I need to. Okay, that's all we're going to do. Alright. Non-combat. Don't really have enough to defend up there, so I think non-combat we're just going to move to China. No, we can't even really hold China. I think we're going to just hold French Indochina. I guess it will move those up. He can't. Oh, I guess he could take my industry. Okay. Because he's down here. He could load this guy up. 1, 2, and take my industry. You can always click on your circle to see what your purchases were. If you ever need to be remembered, which is at the bottom. So I need at least 1 guy to defend. See his 2 planes, 1, 2, 3. They'll die if they take it. So I'll keep at least 1. Or can I get back to India? Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. And that's just in case he wants to load this guy up from Australia and this guy from East Indies and send 2 of them my way. Maybe leave 1, honestly. A little bit of a glitch there, guys. The game will glitch like that sometimes if you're moving and canceling a lot, just to be mindful of it. So, yeah, if you ever see that, just kind of cancel what you can and the troops will come back. Okay. Oh boy, I don't think I can do much of anything else that I really want to do at least. We need to put more pressure on Germany. Russia cannot do it on his own. Like I said, it's all about save Russia. The name of the game. I probably shouldn't have attacked up here in hindsight. I would have been better just holding the line. You can see why, as tempting as it might be to attack, sometimes don't. You're not going to really gain anything, and you're just going to give them a spot to move. I really don't know what he's doing down there. I don't think he has anyone loaded on those transports. I think he's just kind of floating around. We'll go double check here. Okay, so we're going to skip our weapons deployment. Before I buy, I just want to see, you can see a little dude there. He doesn't have anything. I don't know what he's doing with that. It's really a pointless place to be. So, America, what do you need to do? What do you want to do? I think we just want to keep building some transports and a bunch of units now to fill up those transports. And let's knock out his ability to keep reinforcing Manchuria here, hopefully. And let's retake China, hopefully. Actually, try and bomb that one. So we really don't want him to take any more of that than he's already taken. And we're going to get our plane over to United Kingdom in our non-combat move. Let me see. Okay. Mostly non-combat here. I like the little watermarks too. You know, I haven't talked about that yet, but you know, here you can see Eisenhower looking down, the beaches, the plains. It's really nice that they decided to do that. Okay, so he just retreated. That's fine, I knocked out all of his transports. That was the plan. Nice, we took it back. I was okay just killing the guy, honestly. A little bit of a gamble there. I was really hoping he didn't kill me, and he did not. Again, just slowing him down. He doesn't have any transports, so I'm not too worried about what I'm defending. Okay, non-combat. Okay, we're gonna move this plane to England. 2 infantry per transport. I've already kind of got too much infantry, as you can see. 1 tank per transport, so we've got 2 we're not even using. Move the ones with infantry on them. Move the ones with infantry on them. The other 2 can just stay. And then we're going to unload onto Finland, because we can defend now. We have American troops helping hold the line. We need to move that later, and that is pretty much it. I think we'll put our transports over there, actually. Again, Britain's getting his stuff back up, doing quite well. Russia needs to keep holding the line. Okay, I'm gonna be able to move those 5 and the 8 troops that I purchased. 13. So if I can take Ukraine back, I'll have 13 to defend with my purchase plus these. So we need to take Ukraine, which means I need to attack with a decent amount. That should do it. Might have been overkill. I wanted to make sure that I had enough to hold it next turn. So you can see I've got a decent wall of troops there, and hopefully I can take Eastern Europe next turn because I don't have to worry about my Eastern Front. So he is bombing my IPUs. So he's going to bomb, attack, and destroy my money that's sitting there. That's something a bomber can do. But with all his active AA gun, it's a bit of a gamble. And it'll let me know at the end of his turn if I shot down that bomber to and back. Nope. He made it in and made it out. He destroyed 1 of my money. Or IPUs, IPCs. I'm used to other games where they call them IPUs. Okay, I have a decent defense in the sea here now. He does not have a lot going on here, so we're going to buy some stuff. Am I strong enough to knock him off of Asia here? I think we still, just to be safe, are going to buy 3 more tanks. And everything else can go over here to Britain. So we're going to buy some transports and then an infantry. don't think I'm poised to be able to attack Manchuria yet. So we're gonna do non-combat moves. Kind of pointless for the tank to go over there, so we'll send it to Persia, I think, for now, and we'll decide next turn. I'm pretty well defended here. He can only attack with these 15 infantry and all the planes. So I don't think he's going to attack. 3 planes, 15 infantry. Even if he does, he'll burn himself out and I'll be able to take it back. So we're going to move our planes onto the carrier. Those should land automatically. Sometimes the game glitches. I really hope it doesn't. Okay, good. It's kind of unfortunate that the game does have the possibility of glitching there. But yeah, you can see that they're on the carrier. Alright, and now he's just buying infantry for both his Japan and Manchuria. Not sure where he's going or what he's deciding to do here, just running with his subs, which is fine. I'm mostly looking to just hold the Sea of Japan anyways. That's why it's very important for Japan to build a navy as well, so that he can hold back the United States. Alright, so we need lots of troops. So I have, I think, 3 or 4 subs up here, or transports 3 and 2. And then we need some for the other one over in the Pacific as well. So we're just going to buy a bunch of infantry with the intent of being able to start moving them around. There's really nothing combat I need to do over there. Here, we can start island hopping with our bomber, because we do have a unit here. So I'm not going to be able to load him up and take him because we're starting in the same spot. That's why I'm getting this error. So we're gonna go up here and knock out that infantry again, and then we'll move back to China. Actually, non-combat, I think we'll just move back down here. Okay. Some moves, even though they're non-combat, you can do them in combat phase. Okay. Well, we're gonna make more use of our bomber right now, so unfortunately we finally lost our fighter. But that's fine. It's the bomber we'll need for some island hopping runs. We also want to get this stuff over to Karelia to help. And I think that's pretty much all we want to do. We'll start walking this guy down so we can load him up on these transports. Otherwise, there's really not much. Okay, so for over here, we need just 3 because the one from there, and the rest can go over here for now.